Hi everyone, it's Fitz with a walk and talk, even though I'm just going to stand here and talk. So I got a great backdrop. Day one of Big 12 Media Days is in the can. The only day we're going to be here. Kansas State, of course, went on day one. It was a very interesting day for a couple of reasons. First, for the only time that I think it's ever happened in the existence of the Big 12, neither Texas nor Oklahoma were on one of the days. They've never been on the same day. I don't remember that ever happening. But it caused something very curious here. There was a kind of aggressive, sometimes condescending questioning from mostly the Austin media about the Big 12 and asking Deuce Vaughn basically why didn't he transfer at the end of the season. I'm just not going to miss the whole attitude, and it's just getting worse now from members of the media that should be above this kind of fray. But there they are. I don't understand why they felt compelled to ask the incoming Big 12 commissioner about expansion and realignment in the Big 12 as if the conference could not possibly survive without them. Well, I think it's going to be just fine without them, and we're already seeing that from the early returns on what the Big 12 media rights might be worth now in the new 12 alignment, and particularly if they expand. I wrote about Brett Yormark and GoPowercat on, what day was it, Wednesday, and he's impressive, but he's kind of low-key. He's a little bit more low-key than I thought he would be, but he's exactly what the conference needs right now, and I think he's going to maximize the conference's ability to cash in with a multi-tiered media rights deal that might involve numerous entities, and I'll be curious to see if it involves ESPN, which should not be forgotten that they played a role in stealing Oklahoma and Texas from the conference with the intent of killing off a contract it did not want to pay in the future, nor did it want anyone else to have. Now, it's curious to me if they're going to try to do that to Pac-12, but it also sounds like the Pac-12 brings some value for night games. That's it. That's all they want is the night games to go with their ACC day games, along with what we're seeing from what they're going to do with the SEC. K-State, as I said, was here on the first day. And I'm blown away by the professionalism and the quality of character that K-State brought with the four players. And those, of course, were Deuce Vaughn, Adrian Martinez, Daniel Green, and Eli Huggins. Some have asked why no Felix Inudike-Uzama. After all, he's the Big 12 preseason Defensive Player of the Year. Well, one, Daniel Green has earned it as a senior, and Eli Huggins is just a guy you could tell in talking to Chris Kleiman that he loves, that he thought he should be here as part of this since he came back for that super senior season as a six-year guy, and he'll have a significant impact on that K-State defense. But anyone who was worried about a drop-off in the quality of character of players inside this program and how they conduct themselves, K-State took care of business here. And Chris Kleiman, of course, is so well respected, and he gives such thoughtful answers to everything. We have some really great stuff from him for GoPowercat.com coming up. I've said this over and over. I really like this conference, and not having Oklahoma and Texas here on the first day was very intriguing. It was Oklahoma State and Baylor and West Virginia and Kansas State. Also interesting that the two Sunflower State schools were together because that's typically split up. I think the Big 12 is going to be very competitive this year, heading into next year, when it'll just be a wide open race. But, I am struck by the fact that Kansas State led the conference with 6 preseason picks for first team All Big 12, and yet was picked 5th with no first place votes in the conference. And I think that just shows the reluctance of so many of these media, particularly maybe the Texas-based media, to recognize Kansas State as a team that is back, is going to be pretty good, and it wasn't just Bill Snyder, that Chris Kleiman's capable of it. But it's also been interesting for me as the media has kind of collected and seen the sum of parts and started talking to people. They're really coming around on the fact that maybe, just maybe, the Big 12 will be part of what Kansas State could be part of the title hunt in this year's conference. But we will be heading back to Manhattan tomorrow, but we will have plenty more coverage coming from Big 12 Media Days, and I will talk to you soon.